Today I'd like to share with you the outcome. In Acts 8 we read, "That day a severe persecution began against the church in Jerusalem, and all except the apostles were scattered throughout the countryside of Judea and Samaria. Devout men buried Stephen and made loud lamentation over him. But Saul was ravaging the church by entering house after house, dragging off both men and women and committing them to prison. Now those who were scattered went from place to place proclaiming the word. And Philip went down to the city of Samaria and proclaimed the Messiah to them. The crowds with one accord listened eagerly to what was said by Philip, hearing and seeing the signs that he did. For unclean spirits, crying with loud shrieks, came out of many who were possessed, and many others who were paralyzed or lame were cured. So there was great joy in that city." In Acts 6, the apostles get out of the way. They call gifted people together, then commission them and turn them loose for ministry. And in so doing, they begin to equip the people of God to be the witnesses of the gospel throughout the world. That equipping did not bear fruit until the tragic death of Stephen, our first martyr. And on the day that Stephen was murdered, it opened the floodgates. All of the antipathy, all of the anger and skepticism directed toward these new followers of the Nazarene, Jesus Christ, who was deemed as a false prophet, now were subject to violent persecution, and the people of God scattered. The apostles, being the only ones in Jerusalem, lay Stephen in his grave and made loud lamentation on them. And Saul, that is the one who would become Paul, is commissioned to seek out and imprison men and women of the followers of the way. You would have thought the church would end there. And it would have, except the people of God, those that were scattered, not the apostles, but the people of God, though they were running for fear of their very lives, could not keep silent. They proclaimed the resurrection of Jesus Christ. And as a consequence, Philip, who's just an example here, goes to the city of Samaria and preaches to Samaritans. The authenticity of his proclamation is established in his ministry, and there is great joy. In 21st century America, pastors cannot be evangelists. We live in a time where leaders of all sorts, including clergy, are suspect. The missionaries of the 21st century are you, the lay people, just as in the first century. And a gift-making ministry, a permission-giving ministry, is designed to equip you to make, as Paul says, a strong defense of the gospel, however you feel called to do that. You are the missionaries of the 21st century. Through you, God will enter into places that Pastor Dick and I and other clergy would never be invited. Through you, people will hear about the good news of the risen Christ Jesus. And it's also interesting that this tragedy was that very point at which the command of Christ to go and declare the good news in Jerusalem and Judea and Samaria and to the outermost parts of the earth, it is this crisis that provokes the obedience of the early Christians to that command of Christ. And it opens it up. Apart from Orthodox Jews, whether Hellenists or Hebrews, the gospel is proclaimed even to Samaritans, and the consequence is joy. How are you living your faith? A real faith for real life simply says, you are the church wherever you go. We do not expect you to be perfect. We only pray that your faith will be authentic.
Thank you for watching Insight. You can view the previous episode and please subscribe to our channel by clicking the link below.